So the way that you set up those custom pages is there's a couple different tools you got to use to make it all happen, but it's
Okay.
relatively straightforward. So in Avada, and I'm setting this up so you don't have to do this again, but just so you know where everything is.
Yeah.
So in here, I'm going to go to, where is it? Avada plugins and add-ons. And we're going to use ACF Pro right here. It's going to install, and that's going to introduce a new option over here, which if I refresh this, you'll see we have ACF. So ACF, Advanced Custom Fields, is where we're going to create the internal form for every page.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Within here, the place we're going to start is we're going to create a new post type. All right. So on the left-hand side, we have posts and we have pages. You'll also notice that there's portfolio and FAQs. These are also custom post types. Everything in WordPress is a type of post. Even media is a type of post. Okay? So that's how WordPress works. So we're going to create a custom post type to add. Coming in here, we're going to go with the plural label. And this is just going, what do you want to call it? Locations, choirs, how do you want to break it up?
Locations will be good.
Locations. And then we'll do location. And then it's going to create a post type key. This is important. This is the secret in the system name for this post type. You don't, if you use it again, it'll fuck everything up.
Yeah.
Okay? So what I usually like to do is I actually make the name a little bit more creative. So I will do PSC underscore location.
Yeah.
That way it's very unique. That way if any other program I ever install, because here's the thing, you install another plugin, and that plugin uses the location post type internally, it'll screw it all up.
Yeah.
So just by specializing a little bit, it makes it unique. All right. So then we have taxonomies. Taxonomies are categories. I don't think we need these right now, but we can always add them in later. Things you might want to categorize. If you have choir versus jazz versus show, like show tunes, you might be able to tag.
Or areas. Yeah.
Exactly. Or you could put cities in there. That'd be another way you could do it too. And you can create all these different taxonomies that you want. So you could have separate taxonomies, one for cities, one for... It's up to you. Okay?
Yeah.
But for now, we're just going to leave it with no taxonomies. We can come back and add that later. All right? You could click this advanced configuration. We're not going to do that. Okay? Instead, we're just going to leave the rest of the settings as is and hit Save Changes. Great. All right. So now that we have that, we need to create a field group. Field group is just that internal form that we're talking about. So I'm going to go over to field groups here on the left and hit Add Field Group. So again, think of this as like the internal form for this custom post type. All right. So we'll call this location information. Really creative. Yeah. All right. I'm going to skip over fields for a second. This is where we're going to spend most of our time. I'm going to come down here to the bottom where it says the settings. And the location rules here is post type is equal to... Where is location?
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So now, if you don't set that, this form will not appear on that post type. But now it will.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to hit Save Changes even though we don't have any questions in here. And now we're ready to add in any of the information that we want on these pages. So the one thing I always skip over is the name of the location. That's going to be the title of your post. Right. Okay?
Okay.
So we don't need the name of the location, but we can start adding in as much information as we want here. So there's different types of fields, just like a form. of things you can request in this list.
Yeah.
So we'll just start with text and we'll do a field label, and we're just going to call this city. Okay?
Yeah.
And it's going to create a field name. This is just like the location. Remember how we added the PSC at the beginning of that? This is a data field that is also unique. So I always like to make this unique as well. So we can do, I don't want to make it too long, but let's do PSCL, right? People show choir location _ and then the field name. Again, it actually doesn't matter. You could make this a giant string of numbers as long as you can remember what it is. I humanize it because I'm going to have to use this later. All right? So we've got this in here, and that's all I need to make the form field. All right? And I'll just hit close field, and now I'll hit save changes. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to locations, and we're going to hit add a new location here. And it's going to load up. It's going to look just like a regular post, except at the bottom, we now have location information. And here's our city field. So we would just fill in the title. So let's make a location. What's one of the names of our locations?
Birmingham.
Okay. The great thing about this is that if you end up having like Birmingham North and a Birmingham South, you could have separate. But you could still have the city as Birmingham.
Yeah.
Did I spell that right? I did. It's BIR, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and publish this. There's nothing to see here right now. In fact, if I load this page, which we'll go ahead and take a look at it real quick, you're not going to see anything except that title, basically.
Okay, yeah.
Nothing here. All right. Let's go ahead and add a few more fields to this form. Okay. So I'm going to go back over to ACF and field groups. And here's our location information field group. And I'll hit edit. And what are some other data points that we want?
Day.
What day of the week we meet?
Yeah.
All right.
The venue. Yeah.
So what we're going to do is for the day of the week, because there's only 7 days in a week, what we'll actually do is choose a select. Okay? Select is a drop down. All right? And we'll call this meeting day. Or what would you like to call it? Is that fine? Meeting day?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Again, this is all internal. None of this is going to go out. We're going to have to create the layout for the page. We're going to go meeting day. It's going to generate that field name. I'm just going to add that PSCL _ to the beginning. And then I'm going to add all of the choices here. Do you guys start on Sunday or Monday with your calendars?
Monday.
Okay. So this is going to be in order. So we'll just go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Easy. And then down here at the bottom, select multiple. We don't want that unless we're meeting. Do we ever meet on multiple days of the week?
No,
okay. So we're going to leave that as not select multiple. I'll hit close field. And at the end, I can hit save changes now. That's fine. But we can keep adding fields. We don't have to do that after every one. So we've got meeting day. What now?
Time.
Okay.
Time.
So I've done this a bunch of times. What I recommend is using just a text field, and you can type in what time.
Yes, that's fine. Yeah.
But the one drawback to that is you can't then sort by time.
Okay? No, that's fine. They wouldn't do that normally, so that's fine.
There is, I believe, a time picker, but I've had issues with it in the past. So that's why I typically just use the text field. So we'll go text field, and we'll call this meeting time. PSCL _ Oh, I don't want that capital. All right. And default value, you can have it load a default value. Is there a time that normally it meets at? Again, this is overridable.
Yeah, it would be 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. It makes sense to put it in a text format.
P.M. to 8 P.M. And you can structure this however you want. If you don't want the dots, doesn't matter to me. But that's just going to load in automatically whenever it loads in. Okay? All right. Next field, we'll hit close. What else do we got?
We need a venue.
Venue. All right. So we'll
again, that will be text. Yeah.
Options. We can make it text. Do you ever use the same venue for multiple locations?
Sometimes, yes.
You could make this this could be a taxonomy. Locations.
Okay.
All right. We'll do taxonomy. And then what we'll add is you can create your own taxonomy terms. There's another way that we can do this as well. All right. We can make a new post type called venues. And then each venue can have its own page. And you could actually put events on that page as well.
Okay.
All right. So let's keep it simple for now. I'm just going to do a text. Okay?
Yeah.
And we'll just call this venue name. PSCL _. All right. And we'll leave that as that. And then, so that people are not confused, let's add another field. And we're going to do a Google map. All right.
Brilliant.
And we'll call this venue address. All right. Or sorry, venue. Let's call this one venue map. All right. And what this will allow you to do is put in a latitude and longitude for it, and then we can show a map. All right. We also probably just want the address. We're going to add in, I believe address field is not an option. That's okay. We'll just build it.
We can put address under text. I won't worry about it.
Just trying to think of how I want to do this.
She was putting people in.
Okay.
As staff, but I think she must have put them in as an ordinary
post. Are there
post.
multiple staff people? Or just one primary staff person?
No, there's loads of staff people.
Interesting. Okay.
Which I'm not quite sure how she's...
And what... is there like a contact thing for each person?
No, so it's an image and text for each one.
For each unique person?
Yeah. So it's their headshot and a bio.
All right. So, this is where things get a little interesting. For that in particular, let's hit save. Let's not lose these changes we made. The way that I would handle that is I would create a custom post type for staff. So we'll go to post types and yes, that's what I would do. So post types, add new, we'll call this staff. Staff is also the plural. And save. And then, are staff ever in multiple locations?
Yes.
Perfect. What we want to do Is it a taxonomy or is it a relationship? Let me think about how to do that one. For now, what we'll do is on the actual location, you still get to use the editor. Okay? Which I have to go enable that. So, is that under performance, I believe? Oh, wait, it's under ACF. So we have to add the ability to use Avada on the post type we just created. Okay, because we still want to use the builder on the page for some stuff. Yeah. So we're going to go to builder options. And then scrolling down to post types, we have to enable location to use the Avada layout piece.
Yeah.
All right. And then we'll save. So now if I come back to the Birmingham one and I reload this, there we go. That's what we wanted. So you can see here's our location information coming in right now. This needs the Google Maps API. This is something we do at the very end when the site goes live. Okay?
Right, okay.
So this will just say it's broken until we turn the site on to its final URL, and then we can add an API field. It's very simple.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Birmingham, we meet on what day?
Tuesday,
7 to 8?
Yeah, it's about,
All right, the venue.
The venue is, just put Sturchley in for now, I'll edit it, but it's STIRCHLEY Church in Birmingham.
Perfect. Okay, we'll hit update, and again, none of this is going to be in there yet.
Yeah.
So we'll hit the backend builder, and we could just very quickly add in, we'll do a title here, and we'll just call this staff, make this an H2, save, and then we'll do an image, and upload image. Is it, or do you have, ooh, you might actually, are any of these the staff or no?
She said, yeah, it's fine. Charlotte's fine.
Okay, so we'll insert into location. In order to make sure these all look the same, because that's important, we're going to do a 1-to-1. All right?
Okay.
And I'm going to drop this on the center point of the image. It's going to crop it to a square.
Oh, right.
So you don't actually have to edit the image. This will just be a square. Okay?
Got you.
Rounded or squared? Did we decide on the design?
Be rounded for now.
Rounded or circle?
A circle. Let's put a circle in.
So in order to make a square a circle, we're just going to set the border radius to 1,000 pixels. So each corner will be 1,000 pixel curve. It's going to be more than the actual image, which will make it a circle. All right?
Yeah.
We'll hit save. Let's add another title here. This is going to be Charlotte, you said her name?
Yeah.
OTT. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And you could put whatever else you want in here. We'll make this a center line H3. All right. And then I'm actually just going to clone that like that. Hit update. And we're going to start to have something to look at here. So if I click onto this location. Okay. So we've got some staff coming in.
Yeah.
All right. Might need to adjust this, but again, that's just in the Avada builder for the location right now. We can always add more later. You'll notice, though, that this layout looks kind of goony. We don't want this garbage down here. This layout at the top's goofy. We need to start fixing this. In order for the data to load in the way that we want it to, we have to create a layout. I'm going to go back here to the back end. I'm going to go to Avada Layouts. And these are all customized layout designs for different types of pages. So the way that this works is I'm going to create a new layout. We're going to call this location page. And I now have the location page option.
Yeah.
I'm going to set the condition for this to be all locations.
Okay.
So now it's going to pull from this design, whatever we set in here. You can see all locations right there. And if I don't have something in one of these 4 boxes, it's going to default to the global layout design.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't want to adjust the header or the footer. I don't want to mess with that. What I do want to mess with is the title bar and content. So let's do the title bar real quick because this will be easy. So we'll call this location title. Easy enough. And now that we have this custom layout, we can edit it. And editing this is just like editing any other page. The structure, there's 4 pieces: header, title, content, and footer. The title bar is going to load right after the header. Just think of it that way. To create a cool title bar, what we're going to do is we're going to do container. We'll do 1-to-1. I'm going to select the container itself. And I'm going to do a background image. And what I can do here is I can either upload one image that's going to be on every single location page. Or we can start to do the clever insertions that we want to. So rather than click upload image, I'm going to click this little stack of cookies over here. And I'm going to choose featured image. Okay? And I'm going to hit save. And then I'm going to add a title here. Title. And same here. I'm going to hit the cookie. And I'm going to choose title, which is going to pull in from the location post name.
Okay, yeah.
All right. So if we're looking at this here, the title is this bar right here.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to pull this in. And I want to make it a little bit more customized. So what I'm going to do is after, because we have a before and an after, so it can load preset text before or after. So afterwards, I'm going to add in a space and the word choir.
Yeah.
If I spell it right. Hit save. All right. We're going to keep this really simple for right now. And I'm just going to hit this update button to save this layout. I'm going to go back to Birmingham. And this featured image is going to be the background. So I'll select set featured image. And I'm just going to pick one at random right now. We can change it later.
Yeah.
I'll hit update. And now when we load this Birmingham page, we're still going to have this down here, but now, when this loads in, whenever it decides to, there is our Birmingham choir with the background image behind it. Obviously, we need a little bit of structure here.
Yeah.
So we can adjust that design here. I just happen to know The title always adds this extra margin. Oh, it's actually got even margining. Oh, interesting. So it's from the column is going to have this extra margin here. I'm just going to zero that out, update. And now on every single acquire page, we just updated the design. And this should come balanced to the center now with that 20 margin removed. Perfect. Okay, so we've got a title bar, but we've got this goofy picture. It's loading in more stuff here. We don't want any of this. We need to go back to our layouts, and we're going to add a content layout as well.
Right, okay.
So we'll call this location content, create new section, and we're going to edit this as well. If I load this right now, there will actually be nothing, should be nothing, below this title. It should just go header, title, a blank, and then the footer. Because we've overrode the content. All right.
Yeah.
So now it's pulling from, where did it go? We'll edit the location content. Here we go. So now this is where we can start loading in our fields. Okay. So for this container, I'm just going to add this in, and we will actually, let's do it this way. Let's do a 1/3 and a 2/3. Over here on the 2/3, I'm going to hit this element, and we have some extra layout elements when we build in the layout builder.
Okay.
All right. So here's what you're used to seeing, all the little boxes, but we also get a couple extra ones because we're designing a layout. In this situation, what I want to do is I'm going to load in the content. This is everything we do in the Avada builder on the page.
Okay, yeah.
All right. So I'm going to just leave it at full content and hit save. That's going to go on the right-hand side. So right now it's going to load in the staff stuff.
Okay.
In this left-hand column, I want to start adding in the unique little pieces that we started adding. So I'm going to just come in here. I'm going to add in a title. And we'll call this meeting day. All right, call this an H2. And then below that, we'll add another title. It doesn't have to be a title. This could just be text too. I'm going to hit the cookie, and it says select dynamic content now. And we're going to scroll down to ACF text.
Right.
All right. And now it says, what's the field name you want to use? If we go back over to our ACF set here and go into our information, that's this little phrase right here. Mm-hmm. So for this, we're going to take this PSCL underscore meeting underscore day. I'm going to hit copy on that. Come back to the location and put that in there. And then one thing we always like to do is if you don't have one selected, which you should, but if you don't, we're going to create a fallback that says TBD. We don't know what day we're meeting yet. All right. I'll hit save, and I'm going to save this layout. So now if we reload the Birmingham Choir active page, we should get the meeting date on the left and all of that staff content on the right-hand side.
All right.
Now, obviously, I made some mistakes here. I didn't set this to an H3, so we can fix that. Now, I'm going to teach you a little bit of an advanced technique, okay? Because I think this is important. Sometimes you have information that loads on one location, but you want to leave it blank and not show for other locations. All
Okay.
right.
Yep.
So what we can do is rather than do it just kind of out here freestyle, which we've done right
Yep.
now, okay, I can instead add a nested column. I'm going to take this and I'm going to right click and copy and just paste the two fields that we already added. So we're just using the exact same information inside of this nested column, which again has no styling. You won't even know it's there. This is just structure. Okay. So we've got this in here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the column itself and I'm going to add a rendering logic, which we've used in the past to mark if we want it on mobile or desktop, correct?
Yeah.
There's other logics in there. And one logic we use quite a bit is select condition type. We're going to go to custom field.
Okay.
And we're going to paste in our field, which was meeting day, into here. And now what we're saying right now is load if it's equal to whatever we put in this field, which doesn't help us. But if we say not equal to, and we leave it blank, we're telling it only load this piece of information if that field is filled out. So if you didn't pick a date, rather than the TBD, which we did program in, it would just not load this section at all.
Yes.
So if I went back to edit Birmingham, and I went down here, and meeting day was something empty. Now, obviously, you can't not pick a date.
Yeah.
But let's say that the text field was empty. Let's say we didn't have a venue. All right. We'll go back over here. I'm just going to clone this column because it's already built exactly how I want it. We'll call this meeting venue. And then in this ACF field, all we have to do is change this spot to venue name here. I'm going to remove the TBD because we don't want the fallback, just in case.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to remove our duplicate here. And then lastly, I'm going to go to the column and go to my extras and just replace the custom field here. So now when I save this and I go over to Birmingham, and did I update it with no venue? Perfect. I'm going to reload. And we're not going to see the venue at all. It's not even going to say venue name because it's within that column. It doesn't load the title. The title won't even be there.
Yeah.
Okay?
Got you. Yeah.
But if I now go into the Birmingham location and type in, it was Sturchley Church?
Yeah, Sturchley's fine. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
And hit update. Now when I update this page, it will see that the field is not empty and load in the meeting venue. So if you do have some things where you're like, man, this place has this, but this place doesn't, but I want to use it in the design effectively, you can do it through the columns. Obviously, this needs styling work and everything, but you can see where we're going with everything. Yeah. So simply, your process is then, what information do I need? Put that all in the ACF, and then go to your layout, build your layout as though that information is being loaded in. And then that's going to work on all of your location pages.
Then we just duplicate the location.
So then all you need to do is make a new location.
Yeah.
And fill out the form. And it's going to lay out the page exactly the way you want it on every page.
What does it do for the URL? Does it create one specifically?
So every location is going to have a unique URL. So the Birmingham one has PSC_location Birmingham.
Yeah.
And that's the name of the page.
Then can we put that as a small square that they can click on?
So now what we want to do is we want to take this post type. Let's add one more location just so we've got it. So give me another location.
Shrewsbury.
Correct?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I'm not going to add the staff this time, but... And meeting date, venue. What's the venue for Shrewsbury?
Oh God, it's in another church. Holy Spirit Church. We are not religious, by the way. We just want large venues that can take people and have
Absolutely.
seats.
Absolutely. All right, so we have 2 locations in here now. If I go to our All Locations tab on the back end, there's Shrewsbury, there's Birmingham. Okay?
Yeah.
Just like a regular post. So in order to put them in a post grid, which is what it's called when we do that little block layout, we're going to have to create a locations landing page. This is another reason why I like to add that extra thing at the beginning, because now I'm not being overrode on what's called an archive page.
Yeah,
So,
you've got a location page already in there, so call it something else.
So we'll call this choir
Choir location.
locations.
Yeah,
This is just
perfect.
a normal page, as you can see over here on the left. And I'm going to go to a container. And the element I'm looking for is called a postcard. All right. Now, right now, we have some pre-built postcards. I have to just pick one so we can save this. But we're going to edit this in a second. We're going to choose from this the post type we want to pull from, which is going to be locations. All right.
Got you right.
For now, I'm just going to leave this pretty much with the rest of the settings. This is just building out the grid. But we'll do it 3 by 3. All right. Hit save. And when I hit publish on this, and again, I spelled choir incorrectly because I go fast. So let me fix this. So now the /choir-locations page should load. And you can see, even without making any changes, it's already loading something. But it doesn't load the way we want it to load. So we have to create a custom postcard.
Right.
We want to design what this little block looks like. So we're going to go back to Avada. And this time, rather than go to layouts, we're going to go to library. In the library place, you'll see some postcards already created. We're going to create a new one. So we're going to choose element type postcard, and we'll call this location grid.
Yep.
It's going to take us immediately into editing this. And think of this as your regular designer, but you're designing what's in that box.
Okay.
For this, we'll do an element. We'll do design elements and go to image. And let's choose the cookie. And we're going to choose featured image. So this will just load the featured image for the location.
Yep.
Save. I'm going to go to element. And I'm going to add a title now. And again, the cookie. And I'm going to choose page title, because it's pulling from the title of the page that's loading in the grid. Hit save. And let's just add one more piece of content. We'll do another little title. And we'll call this, we're going to choose our field here. And again, all the way down here to ACF text.
All right.
And I can go back to my field group. And let's just say we want to put the meeting day in.
Yeah.
Okay? Again, you probably won't end up with this design, but we're just kind of going fast.
Yeah.
So there's our meeting day. I'll make sure that this is an H3. I'm going to make sure that this title is, in fact, an H2. And then lastly, just to bring cohesion to the design, I'm going to choose the entire block. And I'm going to do 2 things in here. One, I want the entire block to be clickable to go to the location page. So link URL, I'm going to hit the cookie and say permalink. Oh, sorry, not permalink. I'm going to say Sorry, it is permalink. I'm an idiot. I'm going to put in permalink. That will make the entire box clickable to the location page. And then I'm going to add a background color. And the reason why is I wanted to just come away from the background a little bit. I'm going to use the dark blue. Again, we'll change this later. All right? And then just for styling's sake, I'm going to add 20 pixels of padding all around. I'll choose update. And now what I do need to do is I have to go back to the choir locations page. I'm going to come back in here and refresh it for a second. I'm going to edit this postcard and change it from this event postcard that we chose to this location grid. Hit save and update this page. And now the postcard design is what we just designed it as. And so if you want to change how this grid looks, you simply go back to edit the postcard, and it will change it globally everywhere.
It'll change it globally. And now all the staff have to do is literally add in the locations with all the fields, which I'll eventually put in.
Mm-hmm.
There's one thing I wanted to do.
Yes.
And I don't know if it's possible. So you have a list of about 6 or 8 things that most of the choirs have, some don't. So I was going to do things like, access online resources, they can do this, that, and the other. So there's about 8, and I wanted a tick box. How do I do that so that when they're filling in the locations page, they can just tick the ones and it'll show? I know how to get it to show up, but how do I put a tick box in?
Yes. So that's going to be back in our field group.
Yeah.
Okay. And remember how we did the dynamic loading with the column where we said the column checks the field to see if it should load? So what you're going to do is you're going to put whatever content. So if there's a button to take them to resources, you would want to put that in a column, a nested column, and mark it. And so what we're going to do is add another field. And for this, you can use pretty much any of these choice ones. I'm going to choose a radio button. And we'll call this resources.
Yep.
PSCL _ resources. And I'm going to add an extra line here because you might actually have a PSCL resources link or something else. I'm going to say enable.
Okay.
And then I'm going to just put this as enable or disable.
Okay, yeah.
We can choose a default value. We'll choose disable for this. And save these changes. Now when we are editing we get out of the location grid and go back to our layout. So location content. And let's just say we want to do this here. I'm going to add my nested column. And we'll put in a button. And let's just say get resources. You can put in whatever URL you need to send them to for the resources. All right. You could also make this dynamic. If they had different resource URLs, you could add that as a field.
Oh.
And then it would load on this button. Leave it as is. And then I'm going to save the button. Go to the nested column. Go to extras. Go to my logic. Custom field. Our custom field is called PSCL resources enable. And where did my page go? Sorry. Here it is. And I'll pop this in here. And I'm saying only load this if it's equal to enable.
Okay.
Hit save and update. So now we'll go to our locations. Let's go to Birmingham again. And since our default is disable, should be no button there when this loads. No button.
No button.
We'll edit the location. Come down to our resources and we'll enable this and update. And now we have our Get Resources button.
I understand.
And again,
It's a good editor, isn't it?
if it's one URL for everybody,
Yeah.
you can just plug that in manually. Or you could go to your field group, add a field, make that field type a URL, and say resource link. And now you can put in whatever URL you want. But you could also have the default of the generic URL.
Yeah.
And you could just override it as you go. All you have to do is click that cookie on the button for what the URL is and select the field for where you've stored the URL.
Got it.
And that's it. That's how you create a custom layout with custom fields that loads dynamically.
This is really exciting. We can do a lot with this. Thank you.